most important is winning the customer trust. So only when the customer comes to our restaurant, the cash flow, the business actually happens. So together we are here to identify why winning the customer and how to win the customer trust. So this panel has compromises of experts, chef, blogger, food critics, and people have been in this industry for so many years. And since this is a new normal, so what is this new normal is going to be like, and how we can actually, how soon or how we can give and win the confidence of the customer, both in terms of takeaway, delivery, and dine-in. So this perspective is what going to be discussed today, and I will quickly introduce the guest of today's panelist and guest today. Srinivasan sir, he doesn't need any introduction. He's a pioneer in this industry. So he runs a 85 plus year old brand, Adyar Ananda Bhavan, shortly called as A to B. It's a chain of vegetarian restaurant. He serves delicious vegetarian food made with fresh quality ingredients, catering to different taste. Any sweets in India, so that's available in A to B. So preferred in the restaurant, South Indian, North Indian, and Chinese are the delicacies that's been served. And he also kind of takes care of several other brands, A to B Greens and A to B Dairy and few others. And he's also an active member in the restaurant association, and he has helped a lot of restaurants in talking to in alliing with the government agent. Any help that is needed for any restaurant, he is there. So a warm welcome, Srinivasan Raju sir. Thank you for coming in today. And we have Chef Regi Mathew. So he's been served multiple star hotels, and he's been chief executive chef. Right now, he's running a brand called Kappa, Chakka, Kandhari. So it's very famous, old and fusion cuisine of Keralites, and people definitely might have tasted his food. And he's a very people person, and his food is fantastic. So he runs a few outlets. So since he is people person, we want to hear from him. We have Ameeta. Ameeta is there, admin. So I think she's joining shortly. I'll introduce her once she joins. We have Mr. Vignesh. So Vignesh is a he is actually a third generation hotelier. So born and brought up in Chennai, completed his engineering in computer science in 2010 from PSG Tech Coimbatore. He has worked for IBM in the corporate as 2 years, and then he moved to his family business. So he is currently heading IT and customer delight challenges in his business. They actually run multiple brands: Absolute Aruswai, a veg restaurant; Absolute Barbecue, ABs; and 3Bs, Buddies, Bars, and Barbecue. So he is from the hotel, restaurant, veg and non-veg, and as well as a restaurant bar. So thank you for coming, sir. And we have Muralidhar, yes. So he is an active blogger. Murli is also an IT professional with 18 years of experience, currently working in Infosys. He runs a blog site called mukosh.com. So he's blogging little more than 7 years, and he has done 650 blogs, which means he has eaten in 650 plus restaurants, and he has given comments. His comments are very unique and very direct. So there is no indirect meaning of it. So he directly talks to the owner, gives the feedbacks, and he writes to it. He likes photography, and he loves to click picture of food. And thank you, Uli. Warm welcome to you. So with this, what we're going to discuss is how to survive and then sustain and then grow. So this is the main topic. So I once again welcome all of you. And with this, I will start the session with the panel discussion. Do we have Ameeta ji? Okay, she is yet to join. And we have Sajid. He's the CEO of Ahlan Food Groups. So you might have heard about Palm Shore. So he's a man behind, and his whole family. It's a family business. Whole family is into the food industry. The whole, I would say, the whole town is into the food industry. Right, Sajid? So he started with Palm Shore in 2008. Now runs Copper Kitchen, Barbeque in Chennai and in Bangalore. A warm welcome to you. So with this, we'll start the session. Before that, we would like to hear from Srinivasan sir. How do you think this current situation from a customer perspective? Because you run 150 plus outlets, it's very key for us to understand from you in a short, and then we will come back to you later.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
In our situation, our business is now only for takeaway business right now. But we are now challenging only we sell 10 to 20% only. But our fixed expense is same. Now our management, we plan to how to reduce our fixed expense and variable expense. Further, we plan next when we go to complete the business operation, we do not expect its same level business, but we are planning a 30 to 50% business. We how to survival this situation. Our management is we change our business policy and we are going to we are now focused. Our business is only for takeaway, and we plan also in future our product selling into door delivery service, carrier service. Because of our essential product, we are selling vegetarian and dairy product also. In future, how to possible that food industry, what are problem will face, what is the government policies come. Now vegetable market, all our threats are so many customers, we do not come our restaurant area. We are all waiting how to customer thought. We are now employee also very much threat. We manage almost 70 to 80% migration. All are same problem. In future, what are the management supported our side, and future marketing level, but expectation every employees we feel food management help in future to our needs. And management also now so much of problems facing. We expecting very soon customer footfall is 50 to 70%. Then only our food industry survives. We are expecting soon in the medicine and vaccine is after that customer footfall is we pray.
Thank you, sir. Quickly, let's introduce two of the people who have joined. We have Ameeta ji. She's a food critic. Hi, Ameeta. She's a food critic. She's a writer. She's a brand ambassador for government passport, and then she's a consultant. So, welcome, Ameeta ji. And we have Rohan Sable. So he is an area GM for Novotel. So he's been in the position for last, he has an experience of 23 years experience in the hotel industry. So he's one of the familiar and known general managers in the hotel industry. Welcome, Rohan.
Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you so much.
So now coming back, so the main concept of our discussion is how do we win our customer trust? So given that situation, there is a COVID, there is a lot of care need to be taken care in the kitchen, outside the kitchen, in the delivery, in the container. There are a lot of challenges we have. And with these challenges, together, I feel the industry has to work together. The policies, whatever we are taking, all the restaurant, all the hotels should follow a minimum standard. So people are comfortable in coming and doing the takeaway and deliveries. So if they are not feeling comfortable, then the business is not going to generate. So we'll start with the foodie, who must be kind of in a home arrest for last 45 days. I know Murli, he eats every day outside. It's like kind of opening up a task mark. So he's waiting when the restaurant will open. So what is your perspective, Murli? So what do you see? How do you see as a end consumer?
Thanks, Ramesh. First of all, big thank you for giving me this opportunity to be in this panel amidst a lot of eminent personalities from the food industry. Thank you very much. So yes, as I said, the quick introduction was already over. So I'm an IT professional with 18 years of experience. But what brings me here is the passion for writing about food. So I've been doing that for close to seven plus years right now. And I do not remember this long a period ever having not eaten in a restaurant. So that's quite a shock and a surprise both for me. So it's close to
The
1
hands
month
are
and
right,
20
right?
days, I think. So
Your hands are not
right?
shivering, right?
Sorry?
Your hands are not shivering, correct?
No, it's not that bad yet.
Okay.
So 19th March was the last time I went and ate. I dined at E-Road Amman Mess. You know, the moment it opened, we were sort of looking at it. So after that, it's been totally at home. So this primarily, I understand we're talking about winning back the customer's trust. But what I think is, more than the trust, this is more sort of a scare, right? It's a global pandemic, right? So people are sort of scared about going out, and this definitely should ease out in a few months. The moment it's not specifically about people being, not trusting restaurants because they don't have any say in this, right? So it's not about. It's more bigger than that. It's a global pandemic. So people are more scared in that sense. So the moment things settle down a little bit and the numbers sort of get to improve, right? Then people definitely will come back. So that is what I feel. Because there's not much entertainment when you come to look at it. So there's probably shopping malls, there's restaurants, movies. So that's all you can do with family here, right? So eating out has to be, one of the very, very important things to do with family and friends. So this will definitely pick up. I know it's a pretty bad state for a lot of restaurant owners, hoteliers. The entire industry is like sort of in doldrums with this pandemic situation. But I feel it will definitely get better. It's a matter of time until we say, okay, things have sort of settled down. It may still be going on in parallel. There'll be a general slowdown, and people will be quite cautious about, given the slowdown, about spending. So, but it definitely will change the new normal, as you've been hearing out, right? So, don't want to take too much time while all of others are waiting. So, that's the talk of the town, the new normal, right? Work from home, be it whatever corporates are saying, remain at home, do things at home. So, obviously, there will be more, constraints in going out and dining, and the restaurant owners will have to sort of, tune in with the expectations, make necessary changes.
Yeah, Murli. So you said about a one word scare. So I'll go to Chef Regi Mathew.
Yeah.
So the consumer is little scared. They are not afraid to eat, but they're little scared. So what will happen? Is the restaurant is clean? Is the people serving are clean? So how can we give that confidence to the consumer or the general public? Okay, it is safe and it's safe. It's absolutely 100% safe to come and eat.
Hi, I'm Regi Mathew. Basically, the issue what we have now is a situation arises because of that the fear factor which people have. One, second thing is like what we are offering. See, the thing is, one is like the social distancing is going to be a norm for some time once they are allowed to open. So probably the restaurants need to have that So what we are planning to do is alternate tables are going to be allotted for the guests so that that social distancing can be given to the guests. Second thing is see, usually everybody follows hygiene and sanitation SOPs, but nobody documents. So today it is going to be people take it very seriously and document it so that if anybody want to check at any time, that is going to be there. And other one is what I'm planning to do is not to use the same waiter for multiple tables. So there won't be any cross movement of waiters between usually one waiter manages around 4 to 5 tables kind of things, which we'll reduce. Instead of that, one person manages maximum 2. So you will have enough and more space in the restaurant so that I'm talking about the situation when it is opened up. So you will have enough and more space so that that social distancing is taken care. Secondly, we are planning to make 2 slots. The lunch also will be one is starting at 12 to 12:30, so that it can go up to 1:30 or so, and the second slot can start between 1:30 to 2, so that there will be 2 separate slots. So the overcrowding of people in the restaurant won't be there. People will be well planned, and it will be more disciplined way of approach. See, I think another thing which we need to understand is yes, things like this, one of its thing which has happened in this century. But I'm sure that even when World War II happened, there would have been a certain kind of stop. But again, things have started back. So it is going to come back, like Murali was saying. It's only a time. It's only a period. How we create that confidence in customer by offering the best solutions, so that they feel comfortable that yes, the products what is coming, I can go there and confidently, and I'm not going to a place where it is too overcrowded, because it is well planned and execution. So that is what is going to happen. People are going to be more disciplined. People are going to be more cautious about what they are doing, and these are the things which I think from the customer side is going to happen. But hotel side, what we are doing is now we have takeaway is going on. So we ensure that all employees are stayed in company provided accommodation. So we know that they are not moving around in the city. They are allowed to come from their working place to our place. And second thing, the vendors are they are also we check the background from where they are coming, where they are sourcing the product. Second thing, we do maintain the register by checking the temperature and other aspects. So that is what we are doing in terms of vendors and staff. So
yeah, thanks, Regi. I'll come back to you, Chef. Now going to Vignesh. So he said some of the protocols. So you being an IT person and as well as a customer delight person, how do customer can see all the details? How do they get to know these are the changes that are happening in the restaurant? Because if we have to kind of bring in one menu and publish to everyone, that's a big challenge earlier. But now, right now, we have a biggest and bigger challenges to how do we tell or communicate that these are the steps that we are doing. How easy and how difficult it will be.
Good evening for everyone. Thanks for the opportunity, Ramesh. And this is a very important question. That being said, this is a situation that most of our generation, at least, has not encountered, and it's something new, and we are all going to learn from it more than not for anything. The most important thing is that all the restaurateurs, hoteliers, or any businesses, they are going to go back to their drawing boards. They're going to start working out, putting out new rules, which each of us will have to follow, and follow in sense that they would have to do it, on a mandatory basis rather than an obligatory basis. So there are going to be certain rules which are going to be put forth, and restaurants following. And most of the businesses will be focusing more on on 2 particular cost parts, as far as I can see. And if they want to kickstart their business back to going back normal, and this will actually show their intent in communicating to the guests that they are in the right track. One would be the expenses towards their sanitation costs are going to increase, and that would be a clear indication that the restaurant is taking it in the right track. And if not, till now, if they have not been doing it, going over to that budget allocation, it's going to show that we are going the right track there. The second part is that the restaurants who are going to take up tech as part of enabling most of their products, which they are planning to sell in their medium, using tech as a clear indicator. Companies who invest in the tech, they are going to find it a lot more easier and easier to communicate to the guest. The way that normally most businesses would go about communicating would be, you don't go and try to get new guests in this period. You're going to try and work with the guests that you already have, try to educate and put across to those guests that we are doing the right things now, and win their confidence first. And once that word goes out into the public with your regulars, they start off having a ripple cascade effect with your non-regulars, who start to hear from them, okay, so this restaurant is following certain protocols. And it can go with simple things. Let's say that you don't have salt and pepper shakers in your table, right, to avoid contact. That would be one of the ways that you can basically put out. I mean, these are visible changes which the guest will see. Say that you don't have sauces and dips in the table now, and rather you have sachets which can be used once and then thrown away, rather than you repeat it. And then a simple gesture. Let's say that you don't go for a shake hand and start with a vanakkam, which is basically an etiquette, which is social distancing itself and also communication to the guest. So think about your restrooms in the restaurant. How are we going to handle restrooms? Now that is an area where most of the restaurants, hotels, they don't invest a lot, or have not invested a lot in ensuring you have enough spaces in restrooms for more than a person, or 2-3 people if they're using them. So what kind of social distancing we are practicing near those areas? So that's going to be a clear indication. Like say, for example, you want to do payments. Are we going to take credit cards, or are we going to go with a seamless mode of collecting payments? So these small indicators, they are going to be the ones which the guests are looking out for in the initial stage, and very visible changes. The ones which are not visible are going to be happening back of mind. Right? I last 2 days back I read an article about a restaurant in South Carolina. What they had done, very interesting. So when the governors there allowed them to open up the restaurants there, this particular restaurant allowed 24/7 streaming of their kitchen area and their service areas available for any public who wanted to have a look at their operations and their protocols that they're following. And that actually increased the customer traffic coming back to that restaurant, because there was a lot of confidence given to the customers, right? If they are open to, visibly show how they are handling this crisis, and how they are trying to, win back confidence, that actually brought them back all their customers. So it's a lesson. So there are no, at this moment, there are no rules. What we can learn are from best practices and lessons learned from other countries. So I think that's how it's going to be. That's how the communication is going to start.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Sajid, so in following with Vignesh, do you think like bringing our CCTV camera or a webcam, what is happening inside the kitchen, what is happening inside the storeroom, and bring a display to the consumer, like somebody walking on the street to see our kitchen, what is happening if it is not an open kitchen? So do you think that's going to happen? That will change the customer perspective.
Yeah, it will be a good idea, because the customer will have the view of the kitchen. No? Most of the restaurants having a see-through kitchen right now also. If you are streaming the kitchen, cooking on the video, playing the reception, it will be a good idea. That will reduce the fear from the customer. The next 2-3 months, it will be eating out will be a luxurious one, because more than this, rather than this fairness, the spending capacity of the guest also will be reduced. So we have to attract the minimum customers. So whatever practice we are doing inside the kitchen, we have to project outside. Like we are using the vegetable washing or meat, how we are preparing the meat, everything. Already we have a protocol. We are already making a standard, international standard protocol for the kitchen. Those things you have to be projected to the customers. And only they will have the trust in the restaurant, having food at the restaurant. Second thing, we can introduce more safety items in the restaurant. Example, we can have this sanitary alcohol-filled napkins are there, no? We can provide napkins for the customers, and we can have that temperature checking in the entrance of the restaurant also. So social distancing in the kitchen, those things have to be practiced.
Okay, thank you. Rohan, my next question will be to you. You are
Yes,
running the kitchens, I mean, across the location. So, and you haven't closed. I guess you haven't closed any day. So,
yes.
what is the consumer thinking about your package, and how you are able to convince your customers?
So, thank you, Ramesh. Trust is to be always earned, and that principle doesn't change in good times or bad. Trust is only an effort that, as restaurateurs, as hoteliers, that people can make, and it's finally trust is very subjective because it is from a customer, and perceptions are totally different. So, I think most of the information is out there. We have access to hundreds and hundreds of articles, etc. But our opinions, or at least my opinion here, is number one, the buzzword. Yes, we've heard new normal, but I think more than that, it's about clinical hygiene. And it was waiting to happen. It was not today, it was tomorrow, or it was day after, but it was waiting to happen. This probably is just fast tracked, from companies that hoteliers work with, like Diversity, etc. They've found an opportunity in this. And hygiene, number one, is it's felt, it's smelt, it's a belief, right? Because no amount of cleaning something can look clean, but that's just a perception. And if our perception is built on facts that we see, I think that's going to be one of the key elements, clinical hygiene. And it came in a little late, and it's now going to stay, and it's fast tracked at this point in time. People are aware of everything from hand washes to sanitization and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's a good thing. Uh, with every issue that happens, with every difficulty that happens in life or at work, I think eventually there comes out an opportunity. And I think here, those restaurants, those hotels that are able to build up on clinical hygiene are able to make continued relationships with their customers. Uh, Two, in terms of hygiene protocols, yes, some of the panelists did mention about cameras or TVs uh, streaming the kitchen live. Yeah, I think again that's all part of building trust. A few other things. There is a lot of talk about social distancing, but let's face it. Practically, if you are looking at the WHO mandate of 3.2 feet or 1 meter distance, can service really be possible from 1 meter distance? It's wishful thinking, right? Meaning, with all due respect, but physical distancing between tables, uh, that is very, very visible. Now, if restaurants or hotels are going to be following the basics correctly, and there is a minimum hygiene norm across all restaurants, I think that itself, it's not about one restaurant doing better than the other or one hotel doing better than the other. It's about how can the entire industry progress, and the trust of customers is won back. So I think contactless menus, a lot of companies, in fact, some companies are going to gain from this. Like, for example, companies that are doing QR codes, right? Suddenly QR codes, everyone from Zomato to Swiggy to every single company is jumping into the fray of contactless dining. Uh, the UPI payments, it was beginning to take off, and now it is going to see maybe a 2x or a 3x growth in terms of UPI payments, everything from Phone Pay to Google Pay to what have we. Uh, that is going to grow. So make them your partners because they are here to stay. We may want to, it's the same way when Booking.com or MMT or anything of that sort came. We fought it first because we thought it's going to be commissions and it's going to be so on and so forth. But that's going to stay now. So rather than fighting that, you've got to make them your friends in a way that it is beneficial for your customer because the trust. It's beneficial for you because of the volume and the sheer amount of visibility that you can get by partnering with aggregators, so to speak. And today, a company like Zomato is not only in the business of deliveries; they're delivering everything from groceries to meats to dairy to just about everything. And probably they would start, I don't know about Tamil Nadu, but probably in other parts of the country, they might start alcohol deliveries as well. So you think of the customer base that you have from aggregators like this, and that's 10x or 30x of what as an independent restaurant or a hotel you'll ever be able to get. So it's best to partner, and they have now options of contactless menus, contactless ordering, etc. So with a combination of technology in terms of contactless payments, uh, contactless menus, QR codes, etc., visible distancing, physical distancing, high-end sanitizers. Today, every company is jumping into the fray of sanitizers. But if I go into the technical specs, 70% alcohol we know, but whether it is really, really useful, and from which companies and what products are you using. So visible cleaning, clinical level of cleaning. Previously, you would keep all of your cleaning elements for when the customer is not there, for when guests aren't there. But now it is moving to a fact that customers want to see the cleaning happening when they are there. It's that feeling of safety, it's that feeling of security that you get when you see visible cleaning happening. So visible cleaning, clinical cleaning, make best friends with all of your aggregators and your tech partners that are there. Negotiate hard, but of course, partner with them. Don't fight them. And the third element for restaurants is, I think, it's going to be shedding off the menu, because when your interaction time is going to be multiple, when you are going to have QR codes or contactless menus, etc., you don't want a 150, 180 item menu to browse through, because that's going to increase the amount of time. Let's take an example. If a restaurant was 100 covers or 100 seaters, right, and with physical distancing and social distancing, if that restaurant is going to be now 60 covers or 50 covers or 50 seats, right, that means you want a turnover, you still want to make money, you still want turnover, right? In that time, the simpler you keep the menu, the simpler the options are, the faster the ordering time, the faster the turnover time. So maybe something to think about is, could you simplify your menu, make it, I was reading a couple of articles, and honesty and authenticity of your ingredients. Where do they come from? Who supplied them? Do they come from a local farm, which is called
Sir,
locavore?
Rohan, just to
Yeah,
just
sorry,
quickly ask
sorry.
on a counter question. So, do you actively post or share this information to the guest, to the end user? Because we know this is happening in the back end. So, how do a consumer sees this? How do they get to know this information?
Good question. I think it'll be the visual elements in the restaurant, the kind of communication with your databases of what actions are you taking, and seeing is finally believing. So more pictorial, because I think the common is going to stay. Every app you open, everywhere you see, every article you see, the same words of temperature checks and mass, etc. That's commonplace, and that's the minimum expected standard right now. So I think personally, if restaurateurs as well as hoteliers invest in photography to communicate what is it that they can expect when they come to the restaurants, or when they come to hotels. I think that is going to be crucial, and more of a visual display. For example, uh, when some of the panelists spoke about a camera in the kitchen displaying 24/7 what's happening on streaming. Now, that is much more effective than saying that we follow temperature checks and we check everything. The other part is logs and opening up the information to your guests in case they're interested. So if you want to know that a particular dish that was served to you, whether it was takeaway or not, what was the temperature of the person who plated it or served it? What was the temperature of the person who delivered it? And what was the internal food temperature? So in our industry, we use a meat thermometer, and we look at internal temperatures of food, which is has to be about 70 degrees for hot food and 5 degrees -4 -5 for cold food. If a customer wants to inspect those records, so be it. Open it up. Authenticity and being completely honest is going to be one way of winning trust. That works in life and that works in work as well.
Thank you.
So I think that's important.
Okay, thanks, Rohan. Srinivasan sir, you run several brands. So what Rohan said is limited, and we can actually manage with a few outlets. So you not only represent A to B, but also represent other colleagues and our other associates in the whole industry. So if one person is getting infected, the word goes out. Let's say somewhere in Madurai, somebody caught in some restaurant. So everybody is little scared. So how do we ensure we take all the restaurant owners along with this, whatever we are trying to do?
So I speak Hindi, sir. So,
Yeah, please.
so we, आज का situation already we all are what clear discussed, sir. Already speak the how to manage. Future ये problem सब जगह में है. All over India में अभी हम लोगों को अभी कैसे next level जाने के लिए plan कर रहे हैं. वो अभी employee का सार पता है ना वो next our already government side में भी सभी support भी अभी train up कर रहा है like health department में management भी planning already employee का train up कर दिया better weakness वो भी same line है he will explain please
Yeah, sure.
ask yes
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you. Vignesh, I'll come back. See, the question is, you run several brands, and we actually co-partner. I mean, there are thousands of restaurants in Chennai and everywhere. Even there is one restaurant getting affected, one delivery person getting affected anywhere in India. Now the scare is, okay, don't order from restaurant, right? So that's a myth. So people are, so we have to take this industry as a whole, and whatever we are doing, the other person also has to do the same thing, so that we don't get disturbed. Our business doesn't get disturbed. So how do you think it is possible to do with such a diversified and unorganized sector?
I wouldn't go and say we are unorganized. That would be a wrong term. But definitely there is an education part which requires to be given to most of the employees who are working in this trade. The reason being is that you don't necessarily have to be, let's say, coming from an educated background to work in the hotel industry or in the restaurant field. Most of the boys who work or the women who work in the industry are more or less, first time employees in their family who are coming out from agriculture backgrounds, who are coming from, construction backgrounds. And these are people who are looking for a new lease of life with no educational foundation, but with the sole intent to learn a new trade and then, to excel in it. So if it's brought them to this level and to perform at this level, I'm sure they'd be more than willing to, take part in it, in this particular education part. And the second thing is that the onus is more towards the brand. For let's say let's understand on a whole broader perspective. If the government states you cannot move out of your house for 10 days on a lock-in period, and it's not an obligation, it's a mandatory call, right? So these are instructions which have to be followed mandatory. You cannot be taking them as obligations, whether you want to do it or not. There are no choices here. And second is that tomorrow you might not have your own industry that you have moved to now if you do not follow these rules. So it's as simple as that. The restaurateurs and the hoteliers would have to think it in that particular vein. And more importantly, here's where I think associations are going to play a bigger role in ensuring all the participating hotels and restaurants are also ensuring this is followed rigorously. See, no business can improve without positive criticism. There are going to be lapses, and we have seen lapses happening. It can happen even from the government side. It can happen from the individual side. But then the most important thing is picking yourself up, learning from it. So as I said earlier, there is no written rule or law today to govern us to in situations like this. So what we're doing is basically going back, looking at how the developed countries are taking this issue, how they're solving this problem. We are taking their best practices, their lessons learned. We are understanding, for example, there be the rules in Dubai and in Germany where they put up saying not more than 30% of your real estate of dining area can be utilized for dining. So that is basically putting an enforced rule. So let's say you run a 100-cover restaurant, you can only operate 30 seats. So as a restaurateur, if I go about, operating 40, 50 seats at that point, so I'm basically breaching a law. So I'm punishable by law. So it's important to ensure that, you follow rules. The rules are there to protect you, protect and safeguard the interests of the industry as a whole. And it has to be followed diligently. There's no right or wrong way about doing it. You have to do it. So that's the way I look at it. And that's what Srinivasa was also mentioning. And if I want to add on quickly to what Sable had pointed out with regard to, it's very important. See, the communications, right? What we are giving to the guest, they are going to be not just inside the restaurant. There are going to be two parts. There's going to be a part, because today you're coming out from a lockdown. You have to get that guest interested in dine out, one. And whether you like it or not, our industry is going to be the last one which is going to be opened up. On part with entertainment zones, cinema halls, you can put it up with marriage functions. We'll be the last one to be opened up. By that time, people are already, will be aware about the scare or about how to socially distance yourself. A lot of people are going to get that education already from the government. But at that point of time, it is also important to communicate, as much as inside the store and also outside the store about what you're doing. You don't wash a dirty linen out in public. Right? You wash and put out fresh linen for people to basically see it's clean cloth. You don't put out your dirty dishes outside. You clean them up and then you put them outside to dry. Right? So it's very important that you communicate the right things. And also important, if there are negative things happening inside your restaurant, ensure to own up to them, learn from them, correct them, and then post about it also. That way, the customer who's listening to you, who's looking at you, and who's trying to understand, okay, are they doing the right thing or not? If you're good enough to own up to your mistakes, then they're very much happy to trust you when you say the right things about your brand also. That's my opinion. I'm sure most of us will agree to it. So.
Thank you, Vignesh. Ameeta ji, you being a food critic, and then people are a little scared about your rating whenever you walk into a restaurant and times food. So, what is your perception like on dining or takeaway delivery with respect to the food?
See, Rohan has said it all for me, and so has Vignesh, that what you need to build in your customer is trust, and trust through honesty. So honesty, of course, is always the best policy. And I think more CCTV cameras where, monitors which the guests can actually see. And another thing I feel that restaurants could do as a goodwill gesture is that when guests walk in, they offer them a cover for their shoes, like there is a school of thought that believes that, the virus spreads even through the feet, even through the footwear. So if they offer a cover for the footwear for their customers, that also makes a difference towards building the trust, So while we have all these CCTV cameras and all these monitors all over that people can actually look at and see how their food is being prepared, how the plates are being cleaned, how, the produce is coming in real time, not just videos that are recorded and shown, that builds a lot of trust. And also, when you're see, it cannot be totally contactless. Okay, at some point in time you have to, like the valet, when you give the car for valet parking, maybe the valet parking person has a tray into which you drop your key, so you don't really physically hand the key over in his hand. And then you go into the restaurant, your shoes are covered. Before you actually get to the restaurant, you've ordered your food online. So there's minimum time wastage, but still, the urge to eat out is there. So you order your food online, you pay for the food, again, you pay it online. So no exchange of debit, credit cards and all that. The only place where there could be an issue is when the food is being brought to you. Because I know restaurants are going to ensure there's going to be social distancing, 6 feet between tables. They're going to reduce, like Regi, Chef Regi Mathew said. He said that, he's going to take slots. He did that during last year's Onam, and it went off like clockwork, So then there are going to be slots to be taken, and, people at the end of the day are going to eat out. They do want variety. Like even today, I was like, I'm fed up of cooking, let's order. So we ordered from Rohan's hotel, we ordered food from Novotel. So, it's like that, So there's going to be a craving for variety, but we have to ensure safe variety by doing all these little things. Now, when it comes to the server, he's going to be wearing a mask, he's going to be wearing gloves, he's going to imagine that nobody's going to see his smile. But you sense a smile, you sense caring. So, and when people leave, if you can, give them a mask and say, stay safe, give them a kind of a small gesture and tell them, okay, thank you so much for coming and stay safe, That's what I feel.
Thank you, Ameeta ji. Murli, we're talking about the 5-star and the fine dining. What do you think, Murli, about the street foods and the other small food outlets? So will you go dine in if a few sanitary checks are being followed?
I'm assuming it's me or the other.
Yeah, Murli. No, not Mr. Murali Sundaram.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you said street food, I thought so.
Yeah.
Okay. See, again, as I said, right, so people will eat out. Okay, so we have, good or bad, we have a bad memory. Okay, so we don't remember things for very long. How many of us remember Varda now? How many of us remember there was tsunami now? All big things, right? So when we forget it. So this will also happen. People will be back to eating out. So it's a matter of time. So once the risk to life is all gone and things sort of settle down, so eating out is definitely going to happen. So from this angle, whether you're able to spend as much as you did, considering the slowdown economy going down and all that, that is a question mark. So street foods is going to be, more easily available option, right? So, my personal perception would be Sangeeta, A to B, all these kind of likes, right? So that's going to be just normal. Okay, the moment we are out of this, I think we don't have any problems there. So at least I'm thinking so. The more fine dine places, right? So where you have to shell out sort of a bomb. So if you take a family out and if you have to spend 5K, probably there will be people who think twice, should we really go? So today who just don't think and go and dine out, probably will think 2 times. Because in times of slowdown, the first thing that you're trying to cut down is either go to shopping or go eat out. So this is what you can immediately put your hands on, right? So I think that will be the thought forward. And as Vignesh was saying just some time ago, that will be a challenge from the restaurantier's side. So operating a 100-cover restaurant with 50 covers is not easy. So it's all mathematics, right? So you need to figure out at the same time, how to keep the food prices also in check. So since you want revenue to meet your overheads, you simply can't jack the prices as well. So of course, that's a challenge on their side. People, again, with own properties, I think are much better off. And those who have to pay high rentals and real estate, I think will definitely feel the brunt. So, they have to probably work out something so they don't have to spend so much until, the walk-ins start coming back again. So, but I think, I'm okay. So the moment this scare of the pandemic is gone and sort of normalcy is back again, I'm all for eating out. So I think we should just go and explore. There's
yeah,
no
one good news to share is I'm talking to our fellow restaurateur across the state in the south where they have opened up the restaurant. They saw a good number of people coming in for takeaway. So even for the first day of opening. So that is one interesting. If people are standing for a long queue in Taskmark, and why not for food, the basic need, yeah. Chef, following the Murali as a blogger and a foodie question, so the food costing is going to be a little challenging for all of us because we are bringing in hygiene factor and so many other factors are getting involved with the product cost also going up. So do you see a trend with the menu re-engineering as well as the costing of the menu, whether it will remain same or it will increase? Chef Regi?
Work on the pricing and change the pricing to the customers because everybody is being hit. So we have to be a little smart to do some kind of menu engineering so that the cost remains the same or little more. So the restaurants may take a little more time to get the profitability, but I think we have to go with the customers and not to pass on that extra burden on them. And see, probably high cost items need to be less in the I think somebody was mentioning about looking at reducing the menu item. So if it is required to reduce the menu item, we should look at that. than increasing the wastage. Second thing, now a lot of things which will work on people looking at ingredients where you are sourcing from. So a lot of people will be looking at, see now I have seen a lot of these farmers are bringing things and delivering at home at a very affordable, cheap price. So people are we should look at getting things from farm directly so that you can get the ingredients at the right price or less price so that you can pass the benefit to the customer. And second thing, see, this issue should not be treated like one restaurant or two restaurants issue. It's not only a high-end or a middle-class restaurant. I think this has to be looked at an issue for everybody. And I think this is a time where we can ask our friends in associations and to work out certain kind of norms which can be followed. See, because everybody is talking about today hygiene, sanitation. But people are not worried about that hygiene sanitation because this hygiene sanitation was there for a long time. See, the issue is the physical sanitation which everybody is talking about. The virus. See, today because of the coronavirus, which is not coming through a cooked food. It is coming because of you being interacting with people and you are touching. That's how it is coming. So I don't think that cooking aspect is something which people are worried about much. People will be worried about this, the physical distancing and that kind of thing. And that also, it's I think Murali was saying, tsunami came, everything came. It is a very short time. The only thing is, it will take probably 3 or 4 months time to overcome this issue once we open. So I think we have to strictly, adhere to the advices being provided by the government officials and also, people who are in this field who are giving advices, how you have to sanitize. It is all to make certain kind of SOPs in your procedure. But mainly, guests are going to be concerned about whether it's an overcrowded place, whether it is going to be people are going to be there too much. That is what is there in their mind now. They are not worried about the food, whether it is
can I butt in here a bit? They are not worried about the food, but they are worried about the social distancing in the kitchen when the food is being prepared. So, even in your kitchen, you have to take care that the chefs are the cooks or the chefs or the cleaners are that 6 feet apart and they are wearing the mask, because otherwise it's going to it can be really difficult. That is my point of view, because nobody's bothered about the way the food is being cooked or about all of that, but what they are worried about is, are the cooks social distancing? That was the whole idea of having a monitor to show the guests that yes, our kitchens are safe and our chefs and our cooks and our cleaners are all staying 6 feet apart. That's the whole idea.
I'll just add on to what chef was speaking on the costing part, and also madam's concern on the chefs being physically distancing themselves. The one part is that menu engineering, you don't over engineer, because that's the creative problem that we all get into at the end of the day. The key point that we need to understand is to avoid minimum conversations or minimize the contact between two human beings inside a restaurant physically, apart from the guests themselves, is to basically, let's say you work out a single serve meal. A meal pack, a combo which could basically, a single platter where you bring in the food, you dine in, and then you complete with that meal. It's satisfactory meal, so that the maximum contact that's going to come with these two orders maybe once or twice during the entire meal, rather than having 3 course, 4 course, 5 course meals. So that is one way you can menu engineer, right? That is one way of doing. Another way of what madam was requesting, how are we going to ensure the staffs are going to be physically distancing themselves? So the kitchen department, there's so many departments inside the kitchen who work in tandem, those who don't work in tandem. Let's say, for example, the guys who prepare the mise plau will have to prepare, move out, then you're going to have a team who's going to walk in, who's going to sit and do the base preparations. And we're going to see a lot of changes, at least from the kitchen side, and the menus that are going to come out are basically going to have staples, which are going to have pre-prepared meals, pre-plated meals coming up, and guests having to choose from those meals. This way, what would happen is that for the restaurateurs, from the cost perspective, you're going to charge per plate, and then what happens is that you're going to ensure the costing is covered for that plate, and also ensure the hygiene and the physical distancing part is maintained, and ensure that you have enough number of turnovers here. Now let's assume a guest average spends about 45 minutes in a table, and you're only allowed to operate within, let's say, a limited number of hours in a day. That's going to come up too. So then you need to start thinking, okay, then we got to get the table turnovers done quicker. You got to do a 30-minute meal. You got to ensure that the table is cleaned and ready. You get a 15-minute break to ensure to do that, and then you have it ready to have the next guest walk in. So instead of having an elaborate menu, like say 30, 40 items, which takes about another 15, 20 minutes to prepare, and then to serve another 15, 20 minutes, dine in for another 30 minutes, and then ensure a 2-hour period is going to now shrink to a 30-minute period. And the restaurants who are able to do that, they are the ones who are going to be able to sustainably run their restaurants. That is one way of looking at it. And the more core point here is that we are the key thing is that survival here, right? You don't want to run your restaurant during this period and then feel yourself cash trapped, and then end of the day close it down after 10-15 days. You don't want to do that, right? You want to sustain yourself. So we have to look at sustainable menu engineering being done, and then also what is possible in the physical distancing part in the restaurant that can be maintained. And if the concern for the guest is physical distancing among cooks, the government of India has brought out a brilliant app. The Arogya Setu app is a fantastic solution. If it records anyone who's been in touch with anyone for a period of every 15 minutes, keeps that data, ensures that if you ever come in contact or ever have come in contact with a person who may or may not have got the COVID, it rings a bell. So immediately you have an opportunity to, correct, do a course correction then and there. So, we'll have to embrace these tech innovations. Tell our boys, listen, you have to have these switched on in your mobiles, have it with you wherever you walk around, so that, we're able to track you. These are small things, but then what happens is that it brings out a plethora of options for the restaurants and for the government and for the general public itself to bring trust back. So we'll have to take in those suggestions.
There's one interesting question from the audience. So we are talking about the hygiene of the person cooking and the person serving, people inside the kitchen. So there's one question who has come is, what if the customer, the consumer have some virus, and how do the restaurant is going to prevent and identify the consumer to not walk into the restaurant so that the place is getting infected? Anybody want to take it? Chef Regi or Rohan? Rohan, you are on mute. Huh?
One
Am
minute.
I on
Sorry.
mute?
Yeah. Can I interject here?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So yeah, very valid question. So the government of India has actually come up with an amazing app, which we all know, Arogya Setu. The latest update has 500 meters, 1 kilometer, 5 kilometers, and 10 kilometers. Right? It works on a simple system. You keep your Bluetooth on, and the customer also keeps their Bluetooth on. It is mandatory now for a lot of companies and a lot of both food aggregators, Big Basket, and so on and so forth, to have the Arogya Setu app. So while it does not provide you 100% guarantees, it at least, because every single person that gets tested gets onto the app, you're also doing self evaluations. So while no 100% guarantees for anything in life, in this case also, we could probably look at the Arogya Setu app. And as long as someone in the restaurant has the Arogya Setu app and the customer also has the app on, we quickly check the 500 meter space shows this up. That's one way of knowing. The other ones, depending on the size of the restaurant and depending on the size of the establishment, thermal imaging, because the conventional temperature meters that are now getting popular, the infrared, that's only one part. But many people may be asymptomatic, right? So a thermal camera or a thermal imaging costs range anywhere from 25,000 to 3 lakhs. So the variation is there. That's why, depending on what kind of establishment, the most basic, of course, would be infrared temperature, but otherwise thermal screening, which is employed in airports and a couple of other places, that's a good way. And again, as long as the servers have the basic PPE or the protective equipment or the protective wear in place, there is social and physical distancing, there's a service distancing. We are trying to minimize the risk to as low as possible. So that's just our views on that. The Arogya Setu app is a very good way, and a lot of people are making it mandatory for their employees and for their customers. That's from my side.
Thanks, Logan. Chef Regi, do you see any relaxation from the government for the eco-friendly products that we are currently using, for basically containers, the parcel containers and all those things, because it's a little expensive. Do you see any relaxation coming in that perspective, or yeah, we definitely have to be eco-friendly, whatever it is the case may be?
Kind of relaxation from the government, but I don't think I can comment on what policy which the government will be taking, because which is not, because it is a good way of using eco-friendly disposables than reusing and washing the plates and bringing it in certain areas. Some restaurants may not go for it, but some fast food or some smaller units may look at that option. So I think it will be good to subsidize on that. And if anybody asks anything about subsidy, everybody will say every area need to have subsidy. So I think it will be a little tricky thing for me to answer that.
Okay.
But it will be more most welcome one. And like Rohan was saying, because the question what you asked about how do you ensure that the customers are not carriers of this one. See, like what you said, it is going to be very difficult to make it 100% no. But at least we can be confident that whatever little measures which we can take from our side can be taken by allowing any customers who walks into the restaurant probably could I have seen a couple of images which McDonald's is using in overseas, wherein everybody have to wash their hand before even enter into the restaurant. So like that, probably some protocols can be maintained and educate people or something like that would help. Plus, second thing is maintaining this table distance. Yes, it is going to be not going to be economically viable, but at least for some time we may have to do that till we get out of this fear. And what I was thinking is probably allot alternate tables. If I have table 1 to 10, I would allot 1, 3, 5, or even numbers, odd numbers first, and then give the next slot for the second zone, so that you have enough space between two tables. And when you don't allow the same waiter to go to the same table, mixing up the table, probably we will be able to save. These are the kind of ways which we can do, and I am sure that probably by the time when they lift the lockdown, they'll have much better control on people who are prone to be carriers, or they may have. Otherwise, I don't think they will allow people to walk freely into any places.
Thank you. With respect to the subsidy on the eco-friendly, we can definitely request Srinivasa Raju sir, so he can take up to association and various government forums.
Very much.
Yeah. One question is with respect to Buffett system. Buffett government has banned, and Vignesh, you ran a absolute barbecue across India and other places, other countries. So in one of our discussion, some chef, or many chefs, and especially Jugesh Arora, being a senior in the industry, he suggested we can have a cough cover, sneezing cover, so which will protect, which can actually, is anybody representing you to the government that we can do a little bit of safety so that this can be opened up again?
Honestly, I'll tell you, it's not just about the cough covers coming up in front of buffet counters. See, the whole idea is that in buffet segments there is a crowding in certain areas near your dessert sections, in your buffet counters. So that's not avoidable. So basically, that's going to be like a guest from table 1 interacting with table number 3 guest. So even if they are maintaining a physical distance while they are dining in the tables, they're not able to maintain a distancing when they are near the buffet counters, right? So the cough cover does not basically solve the problem. And second, how do they serve the food back on their plates? They're using the same cutlery to pick the food from the buffet counter, and then the same is used by another guest. So the contact is inevitable there. So that's the reason why the government has stressed that buffet dining is impossible to cater during this period. The solutions how we can go about doing it. So again, we are referencing from what's been mandated and done in other countries, and the best practices, one of the best practices, and because we operate the restaurant in Dubai, and the clause that they have put across for us is that you operate with a TDH concept. You bring it. It's an old acronym in the hotel field, but then it's coming back now. People are going to get the food served to their table from whatever options they were having in the buffet. You can get that served to the table. Now, how is that communication going to happen between the steward and the guest? That's something that tech has to help us, and how we're going to do it. So there are a lot of discussions there. So that's one area that we'd like to really put a lot of thought and soul into it, and because at the end of the day, you cannot change your business drastic overnight, right? You'll have to find out innovative solutions to come out with and try to get over this problem. And it can be as simple as, say, for example, since you mentioned my restaurants, the concept is that the guests who come into my restaurants, 80 to 90%, they love the starters. They they don't go into the main courses. They go directly to desserts rather. So how am I going to or of the guests who have been picking up the desserts, right? So we've been studying patterns as to what the guests are picking and choosing from the buffet counters, and then you pick and put out 3 of those items available, something from our own app which you could ping, and you could get it served to your table. You don't have to speak to a steward to do it. And even the dessert option or the visual option, which can be brought to your table with choices from your app. So that's going to be the way forward. The only difficult part, I'll tell you, in our industry is that and to be very fairly honest, it's good and bad that we were very intrusive with the guests. Every 5 minutes, go back, ask for a feedback, what's happening, now that's not going to happen. Like Ameeta madam said, we can't go to them with a smile anymore. Rather, with a mask on, the maximum that you can do is basically go as, one of the trainings that we give to the staff are that when you get feedback, you bend on your knees and get it at a level below their eyesight. That was a training given to our staff. Right now, we're going to have to rewrite all of this storyboard. So we're going to do a lot of changes because this interaction is not going to happen anymore, at least for a foreseeable future. So getting these practices out from our staff, now that's a challenge. And educating the guests, these are new practices. That's challenge number 2. Challenge number 3 is that the guests adopting these changes. So there are a lot of challenges there. So to answer your question, honestly, buffet restaurants, the way forward is that you're going to have starter service, and then you're going to have TDH, which is going to be done. So that would be the way to go forward, at least for now. We don't have drones flying in the restaurant, so they're not going to find drones picking up dishes from buffet counters. So this is the limitation that we have. So this is how we can do.
Thank you, Vignesh. I actually want to bring in one person who is amid of all these situations. He's working hard, and he has created videos, and he's actually competing Zomato and Swiggy how his restaurant is very safe. So Krishnan, are you available? Can the admin just allow him to kind of talk, because it is very curious to know, like a lot of videos have been circulated. The reason is he is an IT person. He started Uttar Bhojan, and then he has taken care of his employees, and he is actually doing a few things which we have not thought about, or he is little advanced. So I thought I'll bring him so that how his customer is getting little confidence on food accepting from his kitchen. Krishnan, are you there? You can actually talk.
Hi Ramesh, thanks for bringing me.
Can you be louder, Krishnan? Can you be louder?
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
I can see a lot of my friends, Vignesh, Murali on the call.
Krishnan, you
Greetings to everyone.
have 2 minutes, and then I have to
Yes.
go to the next section, please.
Yeah, thanks. So, see, the topic of this evening talk is like winning the customer trust, right? I would like to change it a bit. We have been always winning the customer trust and we are retaining that. So, a very interesting fact I would talk about my business now. More than March, we did business in April, which is 22% more than March. Very interesting. While everybody's talking about the slump, my business has grown. So I was interestingly watching what's going on. So what happened is like, I've been actually monitoring the customer behavior. From my IT industry, I come with the customer experience behavior management. So what I have understood is we have to very closely monitor the customer behavior, which means the customer who was actually ordering before thali and parathas more, nowadays they are eating more of snacks because they're all at home, right? So we have to fine tune ourselves to match the customer expectation. That is very important. So we have done that. And with the customer interaction, also very interesting thing is customers are also coming to my outlet to pick up food while there are a lot of restrictions. So we greet the customer, we give them the sanitizers, we use the infrared thermometer, and we make them wait in a specific bay area where they can wait and take the delivery. We are also planning to launch the garden-based restaurant, which is no more four walls while eating. You eat in a free environment, right? So it's a non-AC thing. I also have one AC restaurant, which is not that great, right? It's not doing that great because of the fear complex people have got. So I've understood the customer behavior that we need to change according to the customer need. So we are going to align a lot of things and change the way customer needs it. And last but not the least, interesting thing which I would like to share is we have very exhausting menu, right? From chart items to main course. I have kept all my items open. There is no restriction because my simple concept is I should give what the customer needs. If he wants to eat pani puri, let him eat pani puri. If he wants to eat pani tikka, let him eat pani tikka. So I will offer whatever is available from our desk till the time we can do it. So these are some of the strong things which we are following, and these are giving good results. Uh, I'm strongly of the hope that people will definitely come out to eat. Like Murli said, it is not going to change. So there is a lot of good news for us. It is not going to impact in a bad way.
Thank you, Mr. Krishnan. Thank you. That was
Thanks,
motivating and
thanks.
helping us. Do any panel have anything to say to the audience or within ourselves? I'll move on to the next section.
Ramesh,
Yes,
can I
Mr.
interrupt? Yeah, I have one question here.
Hmm.
I'm planning for the garden restaurant.
Hmm.
Now we can create a social distancing. We can keep tables away for a
Okay.
family to come and eat.
Okay.
What if a friend is plan to join? How do we manage that problem? Because everybody will be scared to sit with each other. How do we maintain that social distancing amongst friends to come and eat? Can someone help me understand that?
Okay.
Any of the panel
For
wants
the
to take it?
time being, I guess they'll have to stay away because you're going to take table reservations and you're going to be taking the orders for their food online. So friends joining, unless there has been a reservation made, I think friends joining would be a bit of a problem just for a short period of time till the vaccine comes out.
Right. Thank you, madam.
Krishnan, you're doing phenomenal business delivery. So I don't think you even have to even explore the concept of a garden dining right now. Focus on your strong point. I think you're going to ride through this big time.
Does Mr. Krishnan have? I'd like to order from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have, madam. We have online delivery through Swiggy and Zomato.
Okay. What's it called?
Uttar Bhojan.
Uttar
Bhojan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
In Valsarvaka. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Krishnan. So with this motivation, I actually want to bring little happiness because our future looks a lot of challenges, and a lot of with challenges, opportunity comes in. So I'm little proud and happy to introduce Mr. Murali Sundaram. He's an happiness coach, and he's an author. He's an international trainer. He's an entrepreneur. He's an Himalayan trucker. He trained more than 2,83,000 business leaders and professionals around the world. He is an executive director of BNI Chennai. He's personally have trained more than 900 plus trainers and coaches, and he watches one movie every day, and he reads 200 pages exactly every day. So
Wow.
that's so nice to hear about Mr. Murli. So I would like to request all the participants, because it's going to be a mind-blowing section. Sir, Murli sir, to you, sir.
Thank you, Ramesh, for inviting me. Thank you very much, panelists. It was last 30-40 minutes, absolutely mind-blowing discussion happening. So that's little serious stuff. I'm going to talk little lighter stuff. So we are going to end the panel, I believe, end this whole meeting in a very lighter way so that we all can feel more happier and energetic and lighter and prosperous. I'm sure you all agree with me that food is life, because when I was born like a small baby. And right from that time, I'm eating and eating and eating, and whatever I ate has become me. So I think all the people inside this webinar are full of people who are creating human lives itself. So thank you very much, guys, for whatever you guys are doing, because you're all decision makers and influencers on one element called life, because anything I put inside my mouth and mind, I can't change it. Okay, the minute it goes inside, it becomes me itself. So thank you very much for doing an amazing service to the whole humanity. Thank you very much. And I loved the whole discussion so far of how much care each one of us are taking to ensure that all your customers are super happy and win the customers' trust. So I'm going to share with you, there are two dangers here to destroy the whole trust that we are trying to build with our customers. And there are two keys of unhappiness in our life which destroys the trust with ourselves and with everyone. Because my name tag has happiness coach, and everyone asks me the first question, Murali, how can we be happy? The whole COVID situation has put the whole business down. I'm still paying my employees. I don't have money, and I don't know the future, how it's going to be. So, you know, everything is uncertain right now, and people are hoping that the COVID will go away. But, you know, last 21 days, I would have at least spoken to 10,000 plus entrepreneurs across 19 different countries. Everyone is saying the same thing. The COVID is going to stay with us for a longer period of time. So it's like going to be like another flu virus. Huh? So it's going to stay with us for a little longer period of time. And that's the reality which we all have to accept and move forward. So everyone are asking the same question. How can I be happy when the world around me is absolutely uncertain, volatile? I don't know what to do. Since everyone asks me the same question, I always say that I do not know how to teach happiness in life, but I always know how to teach how not to be unhappy in our life, because there are two keys for unhappiness in our life which destroys our happiness and also the trust with all our customers, our employees. The number one key which destroys trust with us and with everyone is called donkey. I'm sure that all of you would have seen a donkey in your life. And the job of a donkey is to carry weights and loads. I'm sure all of us have seen that. If you observe our own life, you will find one more donkey within us itself. And this donkey is super dangerous. Huh? Why? I'm sure you all would have experienced. There are many, many situations where your customer asks you something in a very irritating and frustrating tone. You really want to shout at that guy and say, get out of my restaurant. But I know most of the time we will say, put a smile and say, okay, sir, no problem, sir, we will take care. And the same happens with your employees also. You really want to shout and scream at that guy, but we will actually calm ourselves down, put a different face, put a smile on our face, and we present our different emotion. And it's the same happens in our home also. So right from the time we are born to till now, we are aware to till now, there are many, many situations, many irritating, frustrating situations where we really want to show our anger, our frustration, our irritation. But still we can't do that because of, social rules, our hotel rules, and, parenting rules or school rules or whatever rules we are talking about. I call these rules as bullshit rules. I call this as rules in life. And because of these rules in life, we put a different face on our head and we smile and we suppress the whole emotion which we really want to express. And we are all into customer service. Every single day, there is a huge possibility of this happening with any customer who is going to walk in, because we don't know in what emotional condition that human being is walking into our restaurant. So, right from the time we are aware, there are a lot of situations where we have suppressed in our life. And like a donkey carrying huge loads of weights, we have learned how to carry loads of unreleased emotions within us. Like the donkey, we are carrying a lot of emotional burdens within us. One small spark is enough to burst out like a volcano. And there are many situations we have seen in our kitchen One small thing. The two guys are fighting in the restaurant. Yes or no? For no reason, for not even for Naya Paisa, they are fighting with each other. Why? They want to show anger on someone, but they are showing out here. So that's the biggest dangerous animal that is all there inside us, called the donkey, which can destroy the trust. And this donkey flares up when the situation around us is absolutely unconducive for us to be happy in our life. So we all need to learn how to handle these emotions within us and also with our employees and our customer service agents. Thereby, we can win the trust of our customers. That's the number one key, which destroys trust with our customers. And the number two key is the most dangerous animal. Okay, at least the donkey part, you can manage them by showing your kindness, by developing compassion with your employees and your customers. But there is one more dangerous key which destroys trust within us and with our customers and our employee. And that key of unhappiness is called monkey. I'm sure all of you would have seen monkey in your life. Yes or no? Not in the mirror, in real life I'm talking about. I'm sure you would all seen a monkey in your life, and this monkey doesn't sit in one place. Have you seen this monkey sitting in one place? No, it keeps on jumping from one to another. And that also the same monkey we also have inside us, called the mind. It doesn't sit in one place. It keeps on jumping from one place to another place. I'm sure that today, right from the morning to till now, or even in this meeting for the last 1 hour, you would have seen your monkey mind going to the past, or going to the future, or going to the fantasy world. It's not only for us, please remember, it's also for our family member. The monkey mind is keeping on jumping. And the same with our customers who are walking into our restaurants. And the same, the monkey mind with our employees also. And if we don't pay attention over there, that means we have not practiced how to be in this particular moment of our life. Relationships are destroyed when we don't pay attention to small things. Always relationships are really, the way we pay attention, that's where the energy flows in our life, and the energy comes from the food. So all are interlinked in our life, and we have never trained our monkey mind to stay here. And some customers' monkey mind are not ordinary monkey mind, a wild monkey. Probably some people are drunken monkey also. We have no idea with what attitude they're walking into our restaurant. So that's the reason, it's me and my employees in my kitchen and my customers. 3 people are required here to build the trust here. So that's the reason now more than ever, people are all really concerned. How am I going to handle? I'm sure the whole world is going through, and it will go through a different phase. It's like before Corona and after Corona. It's no more BC and AD henceforth. The whole calendar will change like BC to AC. So obviously we all have to get ready for all these changes that's going to come in our business world. So every new changes that you're going to bring in, it's going to piss off our customers. It's going to irritate our employees. For sure, it will open up the monkey inside them. It will open up the donkey inside them. So that's the reason why as employers, as business owners, as influencers, we all need to train 2 people, number one. One people you will always have to train is your own monkey and donkey every single day. My suggestion, I keep on saying, everyone, protect the first 30 minutes of your life. The morning you wake up, first 30 minutes, if you can protect yourself from any of the external influences. That means first 30 minutes to 1 hour, do not open your WhatsApp. Do not open your email. Do not answer any phone call. Can you protect the first 30 minutes to 1 hour of your life? By doing breathing or meditation or relaxation exercise, doing any kind of walking, jogging or prayer, or reading any good positive books. Because if you can fill your mind with a lot of positivism in the first 1 hour, the donkey is satisfied inside you. So you may not erupt suddenly as a volcano when you're talking to your family members or your customers or even your employees. And number 2, how do you handle your donkey? Handling the monkey is very easy. The mind is like a monkey. It will keep on jumping here and there. So how do you handle them? In a very simple way. Our ancestors gave this practice many years ago, which is so simple and easy. That's the reason we ignore. All you need is sit for 5 minutes and focus only on the air going in and coming out of your nose. That means just focus for 5 minutes for breathing in and breathing out. If you can just put your whole attention for 1 breath, the air going in and coming out. If you can do that for 1 breath, that's the best gift you can give to yourself and the best trust you can build with the monkey inside you. Because the more and more you start developing and train this monkey inside us, what will happen is when a situation outside our control, irritates us and frustrates us, the monkey locks, it becomes very attractive for the monkey to immediately respond or react to that situation. That is where you need to become more aware that this is the time I need to take in a nice deep breath and calm myself. Only when we all as business owners practice these techniques, it's possible for us to even help our employees to calm them and relax them. Why? Because there are a lot of situations that's going to happen, and you're going to document a lot of varieties of stories every day in your restaurant. That customer came in, he shouted and screamed at us, why you're not maintaining health? All these challenges are going to come. But whatever happens, can we and our team members, can we relax ourselves? Can we calm ourselves? Can we manage the donkey and the monkey inside us? There are various techniques are there. Since Ramesh said that only 10 minutes I have to speak, I'm just sharing with you these two practices. Protect the early morning. That means protect the morning for the first 30 minutes to 1 hour, only within your control, not for your family, not for anyone else. If you can just protect yourself and fill yourself with a lot of positive information and positive development. That means don't watch the newspapers. Don't read the newspapers or watch the television because it's full of negative news, and don't run behind that counter of COVID. The more the testing is going to happen, more number of people are going to come in. That's how the whole testing is going to happen. So forget it for the first 1 hour and focus on yourself, your monkey and the donkey inside you. And similarly, practice breathing every single day, at least 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes in the evening. If you can just practice for 5 minutes, I'm sure all of us have the time. And similarly, can we help our employees also to relax themselves and calm themselves? Because this is the time now more than ever. We all need to be more positive. We all need to be more happier and emotionally balanced than ever. I'm sure that all of you guys are discussing on various business challenges that we are facing. But remember, Prime Minister talks about Swachh Bharat, Clean Bharat, but I always say Swachh breath brings Swachh Bharat. If your breathing in and breathing out is really powerful, you can create cleanliness everywhere, because if the mind is clean, the outside environment will be clean, because my inner world creates my outer world. So since all of us are food influencers and decision maker, and food is me, because anything if I put inside my mouth, I can't change it after that once it goes below the throat. Okay? But anything I put in my mind, it's possible for me to manage the monkey and the donkey. So I'm sure that's a better one than handling the food part of it. And you guys are doing an amazing job in changing the way people can live a healthy life. Let's also change the way that people can lead a happy and a healthy life. Thank you very much, Ramesh, for giving me opportunity to quickly share with me, share with each and one of you my little thoughts on how, apart from health, we also have to focus on our personal happiness also. Thank you very much, Ramesh.
Thank you, Murali sir. That was interesting and it was fabulous. And thank you, everyone. Thank you. Now we come to the most end. Srinivasa sir, thank you for being with us for this wonderful time. So it was very informative. We have taken a lot of inputs, and I'm sure a lot of restaurants owners and consultants have taken a lot of inputs. How and what are the procedures that needs to be done? Thank you for sharing all your inputs, Ameeta ji, Vignesh, Chef Regi, Mathew, Sajid, Rohan. So thank you very much, and Murali, a special thanks to you. We will together we will win the situation with following various activities, various procedures and protocols. So I'm sure this industry will come back.
It is coming back, not will. It is coming back.
Yeah. So I'm sure once the lockdown is over, people are going to rush, and it's going to be normal. So
yes, and my column will be back too.
Yeah. We are waiting, Ameeta ji. Thank you everyone. Thank you for participants for being patient and your questions. If you have any unanswered questions, we'll get back to you with the answers from the panelists.
Thank you, Ramesh. Thank you, everyone. It's really nice to listen to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Srinivasa.
Stay safe. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you.